There's nothing like liberal tears inside my brew by the Credit Crusader. Folks, here's your full-time Apache helicopter, part-time comedian. About to get into it. So, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your neighbors, because I'm going to get down and brutal. Very brutal. Folks, here we are. FTC, Mike Rando, courthouse, and approximately 12 attorneys that I'm going to name out that are basically Mike's attorneys, and where your money is now going to. When I say that, I'm talking to the victims out there. And to the people out there that are entertained by this, by all means, join in the conversation. Subscribe and like if you'd like. I am David Stanley. I do identify as a full-time Apache helicopter and a part-time comedian, if you don't know already out there, for those who are watching for the first time. I have also captains in the Credit Crusader Army. Credit Crusader is our general. And the captains I report to are the Seeker and also David Paynes Jr. over at Everything Credit. I was about to say Pickles Payne, but we're going to take that out for a while now. Get a little serious down to it. Someone decided to comment in my comment section of my videos that this is a sham and that Mike has been falsely accused of any wrongdoing and that they believe in his system because it worked for them. I challenged this Darwin Award recipient, Douche Canoe, which I thought Mike was the only one, and Todd Gibbons out there, and also, you know, your, go ahead, what does it call it? Credit Sweep 360? That guy too, and many more to come. This particular individual says that Mike is legit and that we've all conspired together and somehow we're controlling the government to come after him with the FTC. Well, if I had my choice, I'm controlling the government, it'd be the FBI, legal law enforcement, it'd be the state attorney's office, and so on and so forth. Well, that being said, damn, my journal makes good stuff. The reality is this. Let's break it down. If you were to go into a bank and rob it, right, the moment you pull out a gun, the officers have two options. Take you down and kill you, or take you alive. There's only two ways you're going down. And you're going to serve a minimum sentence, a minimum mandatory sentence of 15 years and up in the state of California for robbing a bank. Now, if I rob that bank, do I have the options after I rob that bank to take what I had earned or got out of me robbing that bank? Let's say I got away and they catch up with me a year later. And I have, let's make it simple, $500,000, okay? Am I allowed to use that money that I stole, that I now proclaim to be mine, to buy my attorneys for my defense? No, correct? I wouldn't have that option. So why does Mike Rando get it, knowing the fact that he's being investigated by the FTC for fraud? Okay? There's so many stories going on about Mike Rando right now about the fact that we know he never owned that Lambo. People are talking about how he's trying to blow the engine up and whatnot out there back in Jacksonville. Hearsay? Can I speculate? Sure. Because Mike's that kind of piece of shit that is actually the shit that grows on shit. That's the kind of person that Mike is. Now, for regards to his attorneys, and I don't give a flying fuck when I say this, and I don't care because I'm not monetizing on this, and I am sorry if you're offended by the F word. It actually means something for unlawful common knowledge. Just saying. Point to it being this. His attorneys are this shit that grows on the shit that grows on that shit that's the shit that falls off the shit that lands on the ground. And I'll name them. Ashley J. England, Michael Freed, Pierce Gibney, what a name. Nathan W. Hill, Denise L. Lacrosse, Latour, L.T. Lafferty, I'm laughing my ass off. Rebecca A. Maturo, Samantha V. Medina, Jonathan K. Osborne, Frederick E. Owens, Roxana R. Diarmas, Logan T. Wiggins. Folks, $186,000, $265.50 currently right now, and 339.90 billing hours is what it's costing for Mike's defense. Now, in the attorney world, let me educate you. When you're a defense attorney, you will usually have a conversation that goes like this. I will defend you. Tell me your story. I'm going to take your case because I believe what you're telling me. But if I find out you're lying, I'm probably going to go ahead and turn around some way, one way or another, and either not represent you, or I'll find a way to get back to make sure that you for sure serve that time, or you for sure are going to pay through the nose. Well, he's already paying through the nose, folks. The other option would be what they call a chargeback. It's a percentage where I guarantee I'll get you off at X, Y, and Z, paying only amount thereof that goes into a pool. And whatever's left over, the client gets back. I'm not saying they're doing that, but there's a great possibility why Mike's investing so much money into them. But the funny thing about it is, was it Mike's money from the start? No. This wasn't hard-earned money, folks. Mike Rando is a felon. He's also a defrauder. He's sold drugs in the past. He's sold steroids in the past. He's had credit card fraud in the past. He's been convicted of all the things that I said. I'm not afraid to say it because it's public record, okay? For those of you still believing in Mike, Seriously, what is it going to take? Like one of his Lambos going at 110 miles into a brick wall for you before you wake up. People out there, two things. If you worked for Mike Rando and you chose not to quit and not to speak out, and you chose to ride that and say, I didn't know what was going on, you're just the same as a piece of shit as the rest of these pieces of shits. Simplest way I can put it. Oh, I didn't know I was just collecting a check. You were collecting a check knowing day in, day out that these companies, as you were told, were not Mike's vendors. They were his companies, and you knew it. And you lied to people along with Mike. You right? You get what you get what you deserve. You get what's coming your way, because it's not going to stop at Mike. Because when this becomes criminal, and it will, they will start going after those individuals, because Mike is not going to lay down and say, oh, it was all me, I misled my employees. He's absolutely going to go back, and he's going to have you guys accused and say that you guys did it too. For those of you that don't know what's going on, for the victims, how come your credit is so bad and why it's so hard for David Payne or whoever you're using for credit remediation, which should only be David Payne over everything credit, it's twice as hard because the people he can say is he had no clue to the people he hired were taking those social security numbers and applying for personal loans, student loans, and selling those on the dark web. Is it true? Absolutely. I was one of them. I was one of the hardest files to try to clear. However, David got me from 500, the middle 500s to the high 500s, all the way up to 720 is beyond me. A miracle worker in itself. But it was a fight. For some reason, every one of those files that belonged to the credit game, prosperity training, whatever you're part of, even trade lines, anything that had to do with Mike, for some reason, your social security numbers at one point, and I remember I did a video on this when I was driving one day, watch out. He was either giving them or selling them and making a claim that someone in that group was stealing them. I'm not saying that it's not possible someone was stealing them, but Mike sure didn't protect your interest when he was taking the money. He had no position for your interest when he took your money from the start. He had no intention to get that credit clear or wiped or sweeped. We talked about this before, folks. Don't do any credit sweeps, don't do any credit wipes. But don't be that person on both sides playing victim right now. If you are a victim, you're a victim. Do something about it. I don't believe there are victims. You rise from it, okay? You have a chance to fight from it. You have a chance to change the future from that and fight back. If you're a victim, I'm going to give a link to the FTC. It is very, very, very important. You contact them right away, okay? There's a fund going on right now. You need to make your claim to get your money back. I would say make a video so you have public record of it and post it on YouTube, or send it to the Credit Crusader, or send it to the Seeker, or send it to Dave Payne. And you have it on record. We will keep it on record in our files, and then we'll have that and submit it to what you have with the FTC. You need to contact the FTC directly, though, and file your complaint. You also need to file what I would recommend in your city, in your county, whether it's city or county, which is going to be your police department or your sheriff's department, a criminal violation record of services not rendered is what you need to do. You need to then take that and give it to the FTC so you can be subpoenaed on record to give your statement, whether it's a deposition on record or you have it, so you get your money back. Folks, $183,265.50 at 333.90 billing hours right now is what's going on, and it's going to continue. And you don't know if Mike's going to get part of that back or not. It was your money from the start. But to say he should have that money to pay them is insane. He stole that money just like a bank robber steals money, just like the jacker jacks your car. Are they allowed to use what they stole to protect themselves by getting representation in court? You have the right to representation. That is your constitutional right in the courts, habeas corpus. You have the right to a defense attorney. You don't have the right to hire the best. And these hacks, I'll call them hacks because they like to sell the idea they can defend it. I don't care. You're an attorney, you're just as bad as one of Mikey Rando's employees claiming they didn't know what was going on. There's only a handful of Mikey's people that came forward and talked. Okay, and explained what he was doing. They knew it was wrong, and they got out. But to sit there on both sides and say, I didn't know what he was doing, I was just an employee collecting a check, you're full of shit. And to sit there as a victim and go, God, it sucks what happened to me. Look at all the crap I got to do. I got to make a video. I got to go to the FTC. Then don't cry about it when the money's not there. Don't cry about it and say, well, I never got my money back. Don't contact anybody in this Credit Crusader army and say, you didn't help me. All the help is in front of you right now. So for anybody to come back and comment and say, Mikey wasn't lying, this is a sham. Listen, I don't control the FTC. My taxpayer dollars go to actually the state departments. It goes to the government. They do what they want to do with it. I'm not sitting here saying that, hey, I can control the FBI to have an investigation on him or not. Mike Rando is a scammer from the start. The only place Mike Rando belongs is behind bars. Behind bars. He took money from the old. He took money from the sick. He took COVID checks when they were coming in, when people needed it most, for food, rent, anything you can do. People that he promised, did you want to buy a car? Did you want to buy a house? And the way he would demoralize you people out there, the victims, to get into this, including even myself, was pretty much simply as, hey, I'm challenging you. Well, here's my problem. I'm challenging you, Mike, to carry through. I'm challenging you to pay the money back. I'm challenging you to fire all 12 of these idiot hack attorneys and pay the money back or work a restitution program. That's probably never going to happen. I'll tell you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is I will make sure, any way I can, and all the downtime that I find, to contact all your victims and continue to fight along and report to the FTC, report back to any local law enforcement your wrongdoing. You know damn well I've already worked California. You can't even come here if you tried. The moment you step off that plane, you're getting a subpoena in your hand to show up in court. And criminal court on top of that. San Diego wants your ass, San Francisco wants your ass, and they want their money back. And they're not playing. California is not like Jacksonville down there if it's the Wild West, if that's what people are saying. But the FTC is trying really hard to fight for this. So you folks out there need to fight twice as hard too. Understand this. Mike Rando is never going to change. For factual point this. I promise you this. I got the money for the meat and I got the money for the beers to get down to Pickle Payne Jr.'s property and throw us a barbecue for the fact the FTC shut down the credit game. That's strike one. Strike two is going to be when I sit there and pull out a lawn chair and sit outside of a freaking Whataburger, wherever you're going to be hiding at, Mike, working the drive-thru, and me sit there popping popcorn chicken, laughing at your dumb ass, trying to pull another scam through a drive-thru into a teenager kid, trying to sucker him out of his Happy Meal. That's exactly what you are. You're a bottom-feeder fuck. And I hope you get everything coming your way, buddy, and more. More law, more time, more restitution, and you pouring out your guts. The fact that you had to claim you wanted money for your mortgage, this is public information. He gets a $50-something thousand release to a mortgage and a bills. $50,000 on a house he already sold on record. How is this happening? How is no one doing nothing about this? It's because no one, you out there, the crusaders, the victims, are not speaking up. There's just a morsel what the FTC is operating with for victims. They've been watching Mike for years, but the more victims they have, the bigger they can go back and take that money from Mike that's yours and give it back to you and make Mike go cock-a-doodle-doo down the road. Telling you, folks, fight. Stay in it. Don't quit. This started months ago with the exposure of happening from me. It started years ago going back to the Credit Crusader. It started years ago going back with Jim the Credit Guy. I'm just saying, here we are. What are we doing about it? I'm going to attach the FTC contact information. Please, again, contact the FTC if you're a victim. Please contact the FTC if you're a former employee. Do the right thing. If anything out of anything you did working for this individual who had, mind you, a 9mm attached to under his desk. That's how legit this guy supposedly was when he should even have a weapon as a felon, okay, was your boss. Tell your story to the FTC. If you're a victim, tell your story, what happened, what they did to you. Tell the whole story. I was trying to get a place to move into. I gave this guy my last $2,000. I ended up homeless. I'm sleeping in my car. Whatever the story is, to the extreme, to the smallest, to the biggest. Tell your story. Tell the truth. Do something that Mike can't do himself. It's not that Mike can't help himself. Mike helped himself to your money. Help yourself to getting your money back and showing Mike a lesson for once and for all. Whiny little Mikey and all his attorneys, their $183,265.50, 330.90 billing hours of service to covering up his lies. Do the right thing. Credit Crusader Army all the way. If you are a victim and you don't know what to do with your credit, contact David Payne Jr. at Everything Credit. If you have money to invest and you're just not sure what to do because prosperity trading can't show you anymore, contact the Seeker, contact the Credit Crusader, buy one of their workshops. Listen to what they're telling you to do. They'll put your money and tell you to put it in the right place to make it grow. Please, do the right thing. Please. Sergeant Stanley out. Credit Crusader, I salute you. I salute you all. I salute all the Crusaders. God bless you. Move forward. Shoot. Communicate. Don't stop this fight. Do not stop this fight. Stay in it. Take care. God bless.